at this point, as I begin what I have to say, I'd use the stock phrase that everybody does around here about what a pleasure it is to add my voice to the debate on whatever bill. In this particular case, it's Bill 75,
Not so much.
the Ontario Electricity System Operator Act 2012. And I would say that, except it's no pleasure. And it's no pleasure because I've taken a look at this bill, which has been around since the end of April. And I don't think, frankly, that it's worth the paper it's printed on. But debate on this bill is an opportunity to discuss some priorities of this Liberal government, and more accurately, the Liberal government's complete lack of priority is why I'm here debating this nonsense. Look, this is one of 4 bills left on the docket that are all in the waning days of debate. There is no new legislation being introduced. The government is obviously seized of a problem that it has that, while it pertains to energy, doesn't particularly pertain to this bill, and it's preoccupied with that rather than dealing with the exigencies of the people of Ontario. 15 hours to date have been spent on a bill, this bill, that was introduced last April, as I said, and it's a bill that is designed to save $25 million. $25 million in the overall scheme of things deserves a bill in 15, now going on 16 hours of debate. Makes me ask myself about this valuable time and how much better it could be spent assisting Ontarians, but never mind. Since the spring, we have been debating Bill 75, and this is a bill that seeks to merge the Ontario Power Authority with the Independent Electricity System Operator, or IESO, into one giant entity. The Ontario Power Authority was created about 8 years ago, 2004. It can be viewed, if you will, as the beginning of the McGuinty government's energy experiment, or experiments that have together cost Ontarians millions of dollars. I say millions of dollars, really hundreds of millions of dollars, and if you're really honest about it, billions of dollars. Included are countless wind farms and solar parks and rooftop arrays, contracts for endless supply that pay too much money for power that is not stored and is therefore virtually given away with some regularity, when Ontario is actually home, and people don't generally talk about this here in this place. It's home to what is arguably the world authority on hydrogen storage, a means and ultimately the means of storing renewable power, which right now, as I said, we have to give away. The Green Energy Act, debated here a couple of years ago, comes to mind because it was a lengthy and a very rancorous debate. And at that time, I remember questions being asked repeatedly of the then Energy Minister, not to say Energy Czar at the time, and he insisted that the Green Energy Act in totality would not really amount to more than about a 1% rise in the electricity bills of consumers in the province of Ontario. So we're talking about individual residential bills as well as business bills. Take a look at your bill, folks, whoever you are and wherever you are, whether you're in a business or whether you're in a home. Take a look at your bill when you sit down at the kitchen table tonight, and decide whether or not you can afford that. At the time, the government claimed that the OPA would be a 15-person transitional body, I say transitional body, charged with managing Ontario's energy supply. Premier, can you say transitional? What is it about the word transitional that you don't understand? And what management this has turned out to be. Under the supervision of a variety of ministers, the OPA has presided over continuously rising energy costs. In this time, Ontario has been producing more energy than it needs, selling that energy at a loss to other jurisdictions, and making the taxpayers cover the difference. So much for 1%. Don't believe me, folks. Like I said, look at your power bill, pull it out, take a good look at it tonight. It is not just a misadventure, the energy experiments of this government. It is a business aversion from Ontario, and it is a family fear factor. That's what energy has become in the province of Ontario. What a quintessentially Liberal action plan. When in doubt, make Ontarians pay, and pay they are. Over the past 7 years, the OPA has ballooned from a 15-person transitional body to yet another giant drain on taxpayers, employing 235 people permanently, with 87 of them earning upwards of $100,000 and the CEO's salary set at $570,000 per year. But don't worry, Speaker, the Premier has frozen that salary and there won't be any bonus. Oh well, there goes the Caribbean vacation. These are, after all, difficult economic times, and we all have to do our part. This is a so-called transitional body that costs taxpayers $375 million, with their expenditures rising from $14 million in 2005 to $76.4 million today. Here's a question for you, especially those of you who are watching on television. How has your household income done since 2005? That's what you have to ask. And we're debating a bill that would put these two burgeoning organizations together in one. And we would save $25 million, if we can believe what this bill purports to represent. Since the introduction of this bill, significant facts pertaining to the Minister of Energy and the government's energy policy have come to light. To the figures I mentioned above, we can now add $650 million that this government wasted on the non-existent power plants in Mississauga and in Oakville. Reminds me of $35 million that was spent on a bridge that was never built to the Toronto Island by one-time Mayor David Miller. Not there, that bridge, is it? In total, this government presided over an energy experiment that is costing taxpayers, as I've said, in the billions of dollars. This so-called energy policy has been passed from minister to minister like a baton of shame in a relay race to nowhere. And now, after billions of dollars wasted, Ontario is no closer to a sustainable, reliable green energy sector than it was 8 years ago. Sad, too, because it could be. It could be. We on this side of the House have been demanding that this government take Ontario's critical financial situation seriously. We have said that halfway measures don't pass muster. We have proposed solutions, and we've asked the Liberals to please cut their spending. In response, they table a bill like this, Bill 75, which they claim will save taxpayers, drum roll please, $25 million. Ba-dum-bum. How are Ontarians to believe that their government is looking out for their best interests, that they understand the critical nature of the situation in which our province finds itself when, in view of wasting billions, the Liberal response is to start with policies that will supposedly result in $25 million in savings? Good God, they haven't even got a legislative roster. As I've said, 4 bills on the docket. We're marking time, and folks, Ontario is burning. I use the word supposedly because I have serious doubts that we will see any savings as a result of this bill. Savings as a result of this bill, don't believe it for a second. You see, this government wants us to believe that as a result of the amalgamation of the OPA and the independent system operator, they will be giving us 2 agencies, a procurer and a marketer of energy for the price of one. By the way, its acronym is OSO. OESO, OSO. It's pronounced OSO. That's oh so good, don't you think? History tells us, however, that in true Liberal fashion, this government will create 1 agency for the price of 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. Only this government can justify keeping a black hole of spending like the OPA in existence, no matter what its form, no matter what it's called. Had the minister been serious about a solution, he would propose a bill that would eliminate the OPA altogether. And he would also push his government to do what we've been asking for years, and that is the complete review of each and every single government agency with the goal of fixing those that don't work and eliminating those that aren't necessary. And instead, we get another meaningless bill. They like to say, we left the grid in disrepair. It's not so. Oh, so not so. There may have been brownouts, that's true, but back then unemployment wasn't chronically at 8%, and we actually did have heavy industry and jobs in the province of Ontario that consumed electricity. And prices were oh so much lower. So this bill, I'm here standing and talking about it, but this bill has no legs. Thank you, Speaker.
Question and comments? A member for